Britain is brewing the perfect storm. Now, the French system is broken. Gone is the vision of France as the utopia of people riding bicycles and the caricature of garlic and berets, with the Eiffel Tower in the background and that deeply French musical sound characterised by the melody of the accordion, the things that gave France its unique identity. Some would maybe call this a stereotype. Alongside that, the French were also very famed for their ability to protest. But what we've seen and been witnessing on its streets over the last few days is another level. And it transcends the killing of Nihal, the young 17-year-old of Algerian descent, shot at point-blank range. Now, whilst this appears to have been the catalyst, it has exposed the deeply held anger within France itself. It would seem the social cohesion that many took for granted has evaporated. Some say uncontrolled immigration is to blame, alongside the behaviour of the police towards those of immigrant backgrounds. Others say a load of people have jumped on the bandwagon and seized on this opportunity to bag a free TV and loot a load of stores. France is broken. And as much as people want to deny a migration element, I beg to differ. I believe that it is actually at the core. In my view, people riot because of a perceived injustice, usually involving a minority, and the injustice is often only the tip of the iceberg. Cast your mind back to the shooting of Mark Duggan in August in 2011, the Tottenham riots. At the heart of it was a perceived injustice. Wood Green shopping city was ransacked, riots sprang up in Wolverhampton, Birmingham, Clapham, all over the country people were rioting. Remember the Black Lives Matter movement? Whilst they turned out to be a bunch of fraudsters exploiting white guilt, the riots that ensued in America were based on what was seen as an injustice. That injustice is all the more likely to spill out into a riot when people believe that they don't have a stake in society. You don't risk it all by rioting if you have a lot to lose. Nihal was buried yesterday, and whilst the funeral passed peacefully, there was anger at what many call endemic police racism. Protesters say his killing was typical of the heavy-handed approach the police used towards those living in France's deprived black and North African communities. And the anger shows no sign of abating. Last night, French police were ambushed by rioters and special forces were sent to Lyon. And so far, hundreds of officers have been injured and over 700 businesses ransacked or burnt down, with more than 1,000 arrests. It's a worrying sign, and we cannot sit and watch complacently. Britain is brewing the perfect storm. We need to get a handle on our own immigration situation. We cannot continue to house people indefinitely for years whilst we process their claims. It's unacceptable. We absolutely need to stop the votes because the social cohesion in this country is at stake. When people feel disenfranchised, anger builds. Who would blame British people for getting angry if they feel their needs are not a priority? And who would blame a genuine asylum seeker getting angry when their claim is taking years to process? And who would blame the taxpayers of this country, seeing their money being squandered on pointless schemes to quell the situation? Those involved in rioting are usually those who feel disenfranchised by society. The world needs to work together to solve this problem, and what we're seeing in France is only the tip of a global iceberg.